everybody, and welcome to my channel. This is Leslie. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I am back with a layout for my One Sheet Wonder Wednesdays, and I haven't done one of these in months. And it's basically where I take one cut apart sheet or one sheet of, I don't know, any scrapbook paper, and I make an entire layout with that. All the embellishments, the title, everything comes from that one sheet. So you'll see there that I have already cut up my one sheet, and I have those little 2x2 bits. I have already stitched the color on color stitched the stars, just a plain back stitched. I did some hand stitching on that just to give it some extra dimension and give it some extra texture. So the photo I'm going to be scrapping is of my son. It's his school photo from last year, and isn't that just such a regal photo? He's such a gorgeous boy. I'm so proud of him. So I thought of doing sort of a horizontal layout with all of these little 2x2 bits. I thought that would be really cool. I'm going to be fussing around quite a bit with the placement and so on, because I really want to get all of those little 2x2 bits. And the title that I want to be using is that hashtag awesome. And I'm going to be fiddling around with that a lot as well. In the end, it does make the layout, but for a bit there I thought that no, maybe I shouldn't use it as a title and all of that. So this paper is a simple stories paper. It's called So Rad. It's from the collection. It's a boys collection. So it's really cool. However, it's got sort of like an 80s theme. There's a lot of cassettes and skateboards and, you know, like that. So it is very themed. However, I do make it work for this layout. So I'm going to be using that 4x6 paper just as some layering behind my photo, and I'm going to be using those other two 4x6s as well in the end as layering. And doesn't that look fabulous? I mean, it's such an easy composition and it works really well. And I love using non-school papers to make school layouts. School papers and school collections are pretty monotonous and they all look the same to me in any case. So I hope I'm not offending anyone. So I'm going to be using some of my Heidi Swap Color Shine, and as you can see, I'm just spritzing it right onto the paper. I'm not using the packaging technique. I'm not splotching. I'm just spraying it on. And the blue is called Ocean. The green is called Citron, I think. And that orange is called Mustard. So the orange is called Mustard, and I'm trying to pull on the colors that's in the collection. As you can see, I didn't use any like bright yellows or reds and things like that. So I really wanted to pull on the colors in the collection. And once everything is on top of my mixed media, you really don't see a lot of it. But I had fun making it, and you see sort of like a peak of something underneath it, and that's what makes it interesting. And yeah, so here's I'm trying to waft it dry, but my wafting is not really working very well. I can't find my heat gun. It is somewhere, my heat little tool. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in my room. I'm just too lazy to go get it. So there you see Emma came in and joined me for this and was very jealous that I was making a paper or a page for her brother and not for her, because I think like 70% of my layouts are either of her or of Lucy. So when I don't make a layout of her, then she wants to know why, and I have to explain. But she does have two other siblings as well, the two boys, and they also need to be scrapped. So anyway, I pull in some of my Heidi Swap Black Color Shine, and it's just to add that dramatic black, and I'm trying to put it just behind where I know my photo is going to go. So I'm bringing in my little tissue, and I'm just trying to daub up some of the extra bits, and I'm just using a plain textured white cardstock. I don't think it's American Craft white cardstock. It's like a no-name brand white cardstock. The shop that I buy all my white cardstock, my American Crafts white cardstock from, they've run out, so I had to scrounge around to find American. No, not American Crafts. I had to scrounge around to find other options. And this is one of the other options that I found. So, there you go. I'm going to be sticking everything down with wet glue. And as you know, that tape runners and that won't work very well on the mixed media backgrounds. So, using wet glue is advised. You can try it out for yourself and see if it works for you. In my experience, it doesn't. So, I use my wet glue when I do some mixed media, especially when I use gesso. Now, I didn't use gesso on this layout. I didn't think it was necessary. In fact, I didn't even realize I was going to use as much of the color shine as I did. But yes, see, it all covers it up in the end, but you can still see there's something behind it. It gives sort of a luminosity to it, and I like the fact that it creates sort of a halo around my embellishing. There you go. Okay, so I am going to be popping those little 2x2s up on some adhesive foam, my craft foam, and yeah, I have still got to find out if there's any acid in this craft foam. I suspect that there probably would be quite a bit of acid because it's really cheap, and it you know, there's no reason why they wouldn't put acid in there. So I am a bit scared of what's going to happen to my layouts in the next couple of years. But I've had a lady, very sweet lady, comment on one of my other previous videos where I mentioned my fears, and she said she hasn't had any problems with it, and she's been using that craft foam for years now. So I have hope, and I am quite encouraged that nothing's going to happen to my layouts, but you still have that fear, you know. It's the same with little foam dots. They dry out. Little foam squares, they do dry out. Sometimes your layouts do fall apart, and so on. So anyway, that's basically going to be the gist of my layout. And I'm going to be placing that little cut apart as well with just the hashtags peeking out. I really like that. It's very age appropriate for him at the moment. Everything is hashtag everything. So yes. We do wear school uniforms in our lovely metropolis of Dubai. The kids go to a British curriculum school, so they do wear uniforms, and I have to say it is quite convenient for us, to do with, you know, the amount of washing you have to do. And it's easier just to keep everything together. I know in the US, unless you're in a private school, I think you don't wear school uniforms, you just wear whatever. And I can see why that would be it's fun for the kids, but I suspect it's not so much fun for the parents, having to do all that washing all of the time. I mean, for us it's just a shirt and pants every day, but I mean, if you start adding, you know, the different things, especially when the girls get older, they start wearing a lot of extras. Hey, anyway, so there you see I am using my adhesive wet glue, just sticking everything down, and I'm really liking the layers behind my photo. I'm loving that, and I am going to be drawing a border with my Sharpie around the photo. I felt that the photo was a bit lost because of its stark white, its whiteness. So I'm going to be adding some, just a little border around that. I think it's the only border I add. Oh, and around the edge, right at the end of the video, I think I do add a border around the entire layout as well, just to keep everything nice and together and tucked in. So I've actually had those stars that I stitched for a while now, and I've been wanting to do another one sheet Wonder Wednesday for a bit. So I've had this on my desk for a while, and I just thought the other day, it's time I do this. It's time I do this. I'm thinking maybe I should do it at least once a month, a one sheet Wonder Wednesday, just to get myself back into it, because I really enjoy it. I like the challenge, and it's very interesting to see what you can come up with if you only have one sheet. And it's, you might think it's limiting, but it's actually quite refreshing, because you're not overwhelmed with all of the products and all of the things, and you know, it's you're quite limited. So you get your brain thinking, the engine goes, the engine starts to think a bit, and you know, you get a chance to be more creative, and so that's fun. Yeah, sure, I don't have all of the little puffy stuff and the little, you know, brads and things on there, but I like the way it turns out. It forces me to be more creative. So if you do want to take part in this, please go to my Instagram. It's just type in Leslie Burner and you will find me. And if you don't follow me yet, I'll leave sort of like a little business card at the end of the video where you can see what my Instagram handle is. And you can post me your one sheet Wonder Wednesdays, and I would love to see what you come up by using just one sheet of scrapbook paper. It's most often that you would probably use a cut apart or something that has, you know, that you can fussy cut or something like that. So it's most likely that you would use something that's very busy and so on, like a cut apart, or, you know, if it's a girl, a page with lots of florals that you can fussy cut and something like that. Just make sure that the sheet always has something, a word on it, or something that you can use as a title. That's quite a biggie, because you know, part of this is to try to not go outside of the sheet, to try to use just this one sheet to make a layout. And it's very economical in the end, because you get to make a layout and you only need one sheet. You don't need an entire collection. So if you only have that one cut apart sheet lying around, don't throw it away. Just try to make a layout with it, and you'll see that it's quite fun. So as I said, I do use a lot of dimension with this layout. Use a lot of my craft foam, and there you go. I've cut some of that little bit that says awesome. I've cut the edges off of that, and I just gonna stick it right on top of the photo there. And this is about it for this layout. Remember, if you like what you see, please give us a like. It does help with the YouTube algorithms, and please leave me a comment. I love reading your comments. I read every single comment, and if I don't get back to you, it doesn't mean that I didn't read it. I usually do like all the comments that I receive, just to show that I have read them. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you here, and hit the bell icon, and then you'll be notified every time I do upload a video. I do try to be as educational as I can in my videos, and not just showing you a process of what I'm doing. So yes, that is it for this layout. I am very glad to be back with One Sheet Wonder Wednesdays, and I will try and do this once a month from now on. See you soon. Bye.